or
You want more employment opportunities.
yeah.
Griff wants to know, how can you supply more employment opportunities?
Hugh?
If I can read my writing. Can't read out my glasses.
It says, why can't day service provide... Oh, my giddy aunt. Why can't day services provide something for people who left school and college early?
Qualification.
Okay, go on then.
Why can't the day centres provide qualification, like MVQ certificates, so that people left college and school earlier, 15-year-old, the high-me generation, the next generation?
And the last one, which is a similar question.
That was my mistake of not reading the question properly.
Nick?
Yeah. Okay, why can't services employ us as support workers as it would lead to a job and get us off benefits?
Right, so in conclusion there, you've been given two different questions. One is with regards to employment opportunities within day services or generally, and the second one is about day services providing qualifications.
And then wage package as well.
Well, yes, the wage package.
If you do employment loans.
Okay, I'll try and see if I can answer it as structured as I can without rabbiting on too much. Right, there are various projects currently going on nationwide as well as locally around trying to help and support people with disability into employment. The key one, of course, being Coastal, which we've already referred to today. And, of course, that whole point of Coastal is to try to get people skilled up and workforce ready effectively. The issue that Hugh raised specifically about qualifications for young people is that there is actually a project out there that actually does do that. It's called the NEAT project. I don't know how many people have heard of it, but it's not in education, employment and training. That's it. That's exactly what Hugh is saying. The young people coming through who've left school early, they are young people who effectively have left school with no qualification.
Donna, it doesn't work like that because a lot of people, like my generation, have lived 26 years in this country and did education abroad, and it doesn't match up with the British education. It's very hard. Most people go to the job centre disabilities. Most of the job centres jobs are out of date, English, Welsh and driving licence. You're stuffed.
So you're saying then it's about young people who may not have received qualifications who are now older?
Yeah. Those
and
people
about getting qualifications as they're getting older,
you
mean?
And it's
right, okay,
people
fine.
Education abroad.
Okay. But again, that's where Coastal comes into it, because they have now identified numerous training opportunities for people coming through Coastal. And that includes things like MVQs. We've got people doing HGV driving licence courses to try to get them to be long-distance lorry drivers. We've got people doing secretarial courses so that they can go on to do admin work. And, we have had some success with that, but it's about matching the right training for the right person and what it is that they want to do. But there are other things going on that not within social services. I mean, there is a big nationwide initiative currently about getting people into employment. And I can't talk too much about it because I don't know anything about it, other than I know that it's out there. Because if you're signed up for one, you can't be signed up for the other one. So that's why I know that it's there. But that's done through the job centre. So there are lots of initiatives that are coming out of the Welsh Government and the UK Government currently around trying to get people skilled up and trained up and getting qualifications. And all I could say to people is that if there is a particular qualification that you would really like to do, then it's about highlighting that to your support staff so that that can be put forward possibly through the Coastal team so that they can look at how that can actually be achieved. Is that okay?
Anybody got any further comments about that?
Well, how come we've never heard of these programs? I mean, the job centre doesn't exactly say to you, oh, by the way, we've got a huge list, here you go. It's more like, Well, that's for 16 to 24-year-olds, so we can't really let you in on that. This programme doesn't really fit you, so we can't offer that to you. So you think, well, coastal, you're going to get trained, but you're not going to get a job. So it's a case of, oh, well, out the door, goodbye.
Well, at the end of the day, if you don't do the training, you don't know if you can get the job. So, you know, it's a bit of a chicken and the egg situation, really. But with regards to your comment, Nick, about employing people with disability, that's obviously something that we are really keen to do and really want to get that, you know, sorted out. As one of the biggest employers within the county of Ceredigion, the council is very keen to support people to be employed within its own organisation. And I am aware of several people that have actually gained part-time employment with the council, and some of that through the coastal schemes. So, you know, it is happening, but it's very small at the moment. But bearing in mind we are looking at a bigger jobs market as well, and we have to look at the skills, really, that people have got. I mean, one of the questions that was things we discussed on the table around day services and support that I was sitting on previously was about making sure that we employ people as support staff who've got experience and skills. But where do those people get those experience and skills if we don't give them a job in the first place? So again, you know, we have to think about that when we're taking people on to do these jobs. You know, sometimes we do take people on with no skills, but the expectation is that they will learn them on the job.
Yeah, the problem with coastal is that with some of the training that's supposed to be offered, some of us get told, no, you're too old, so we can't offer that to you. It's a bit of an insult, don't you think?
Well, I can't speak for specific instances, Nick, I'm sorry. I'm not that involved with coastal to be able to answer that, sorry.
Okay.
Fred? Fred?
Oh, mine's housing, isn't it?
I was told it would take 2 years.
Yeah. What I was going to ask is, how long does it take to move from house to house?
Well, Fred, it depends on where you're living now and what sort of house you want to go and live in.
Yeah. And the second question is the same thing about housing, but the house has started to be built, but it never got finished.
All right. Do you know anything about that, though? Because I don't know where that is.
That's up in North Wales.
Right, okay.
That's where I was going to live.
Right, so that wouldn't be in Ceredigion, though, you see, so we wouldn't know about that one. But for your first question, what I can say to you is, first of all, you need to have your name down on a list to say that you want to move, and then when something suitable comes up for you, then that will be offered to you. Now, because there's other people looking for housing as well, sometimes that takes quite a long time. It depends really where you want to go and live. But if you're in Ceredigion, as long as you've got your name down on our housing register list, then you will be considered when something suitable comes up. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Now, the third question is similar to that, is when the house was on a disabled premises,
right.
Got started, the one that never got finished.
Right, right. This is the one in North Wales, is it?
This is one I was going to have, yes.
Right.
But it never got finished, so I never could move.
Okay, so you're still living in Ceredigion at the moment, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. So are you going to stay here, or are you still hoping to move?
I would like to move, yes.
Right, okay. Well, I think probably the person who helps to support you can make some inquiries to see if there is anything suitable for you in North Wales, if that's where you want to live. But other than that, we wouldn't know about that, you see, because it's outside the county. Okay? But if you want housing inside the county, if you just want to move from where you are now to somewhere else in Ceredigion, then you need to have your name down on the housing list. And as I say, when something suitable comes up, then you will be offered it.
Yeah, I had that done 3 years ago, but I never got done.
Right, okay. You only need to make sure your name is on that list again then, because some other people will be on the list as well, and they may be offered property.
Yeah, but it'll take twice as long now.
Well, you never know, because it depends where you want to go. You see, in some places there's more housing available than
the
in
housing
others.
is on private property.
Yeah.
And it's already started.
Right.
But never got finished.
Yeah. So you're going to have to have somewhere else now, aren't you, instead of that one, really?
No, I'd like to have that house finished,
Right.
then I can move in.
Well, you'll have to have somebody make inquiries for you about what happened with that house and why it was never finished. There may be a good reason why. It might be because of not enough money or something like that. But you'd have to ask the people in North Wales who were building that house what the situation is. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Fred. Can I take your question with me? Thank you.
Right, the next question is from Nick, so our glamorous assistant doesn't have to go very far. But as a precursor to this, I think this is an issue that I'm quite interested in, and I suspect that it's not targeted at the correct tier of government here, but we'd like to hear Sian and Gareth's opinions on it anyway.
Yeah, when can we expect to have the old Carmarthen line reopened?
It's a very good question, and probably the answer is never. There's a lot of romanticism about this line, and the problem is that what people tend to forget that it is a very tortuous and slow service. That it took hours to get from Aberystwyth to Carmarthen. There is now an hourly bus service which gets you there much quicker, and the cost of redeveloping the existing trackbed would be horrendous. If there was limited finance, or if there was no limit on the finance available, and no other parts of the UK were calling for improved infrastructure, there's a long-term vision that a new line is the best option. And this would possibly be from Lampeter towards Llandilo and join in that way. But again, you're talking in excess of £500 million to £750 million, and in this day and age, that sort of money is not available. So, unfortunately, I'll be pushing up the daisies before any work is done on the Carmarthen line, and the only thing I can suggest is that you lobby for even better bus service than there is now.
Yeah, the problem is that it would make getting to Aberaeron so much easier, because the buses can take at least 50 minutes, where the train would probably take 20, 25, and you would not have to go to Shrewsbury to go to anywhere else, because that is a real pain in the backside.
I agree with that last... Right. Okay, we've got a question now from Faye.
Hi, my name's Faye. My question is, what happens to someone like me if, at the minute, I live in an adult placement in Llachar near Cardigan? What happens if I move out? What sort of housing accommodation could I think about going into as a young adult?
Okay. At the moment, you live with the family in adult placement, you? Okay. Have you discussed with them that you might like to move out?
No.
You haven't? Because that would be the first step, really, because they can perhaps help you then to look for somewhere, and they'll have somebody from the council who also comes to visit you sometimes. Do you have an officer coming from the council?
I'm not sure.
I think they probably will, and then between them, and with your help, obviously, they can find somewhere that you might want to live, somewhere independently, and perhaps if you need some support, then they can offer that support for you as well. But what I would do is, if that's what you're thinking of, have a word with your family first, and they can take it forward and help you then to look for something. Okay? That's the first step.
Thank you, Faye. Okay, let's get through these questions. Where's Hugh gone? He's not here?
Okay. Do you want to ask that question?